Here is
It's a dangerous thing to say with this audience.
Speaking of which, Rudy Giuliani, there is a very odd relationship. I saw some guy talking about he'd done maybe a bio of Rudy Giuliani. He's like, the president, Rudy Giuliani, they're just so tight. They just fit together hand in glove. And I just thought it was the weirdest thing. Like Donald Trump, he would, if he thought there was $15 in it to him, he would sell, his family members. Like literally, he would sell.
Vodka would be $20. Excuse me. Eric,
there
10.
is a dynamic between
Tiffany,
Giuliani and Trump, but I have a feeling it's more like Giuliani, I still am fascinated.
Just because I'm a country lawyer don't mean I don't know how to collect information.
Intelligence.
When he said, I've got an insurance proposal, that is a really weird, funny thing to joke about your client.
There's a photo of this guy crying next to the body of a Bonanno captain, and he's bragging that he ordered the hit.
Now, it has always been an ongoing debate since the day I started doing this professionally, talking about some of these people in the news, stupid or evil. And usually the answer is yes. But I think also completely insane needs to also be in this. Here is Rudy Giuliani, indistinguishable from a QAnon. Have you seen some of these videos around? Some of these QAnon people who are just it's scary. There is a mass psychosis out there, or this has been, sort of some type of gateway into psychosis. Here is Giuliani, and the Fox and Friends people are even a little bit oh gosh. And here is Giuliani talking about the real scandal that's going on in Ukraine.
Because yesterday, the Democrats in their House impeachment proceedings were talking a lot about you. They talked about Lev Parnas, who says the president and you knew everything that he was doing. They showed your phone records. They built a case that you were up to no good for the president.
How about all of those phone records show that I am a very hardworking lawyer who was investigating what really happened, because I didn't go look for dirt on Joe Biden. It was handed to me. And it was handed to me a year, almost a year and a half ago.
You didn't ask for it?
No, I was given information about Ukrainian corruption. It involved by two people, two informants. You're going to find out at least who one of them is, and possibly the second. And they told me that there was a great deal of collusion going on in Ukraine to fix the 2016 election
in the United States
in favor of Hillary, that what happened in Russia was a big hoax, that actually it was the Democrats projecting what they had actually done in Ukraine.
I am the informant who tells you everything you want to tell.
That's where he starts. Now play the next one. This is where he goes completely crazy.
Hey, Sam, I have secret information. It's everything you want is true.
Exactly.
I'm actually Rudy Giuliani's informant. I put on a tracksuit and
Here we go.
Then he hires Biden's son. You know what happened in between? He made a deal with Biden. You be on board to protect me against Poroshenko taking my company. When they moved to take the company, that's when Biden came in and had the prosecutor fired. And within 4 months, the crooked oligarch who's sitting with $5 billion comes back to the Ukraine. He is not prosecuted.
Look at them.
He is sitting there fat and happy with his company. And then we got another bribe. You don't think the president of the Ukraine shared in that $5 billion that the crook kept?
Rudy.
The bribe to the president of the Ukraine, the amount of money, I can't be absolutely sure of. Let's say it's well in excess of $10 million.
You know, the entire crowd has...
Now, that shouldn't be revealed from a lawyer who finds out about this. Am I going to cover it up the way the Democrats and the media cover it up? Absolutely not.
Rudy?
I prosecuted too many corruption cases to sit by and watch my country sold out by a vice president who did it 2 other times at least in China.
So how does this end?
This ends hopefully with Biden finally being put under investigation. You don't think if these things were said about Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr., they wouldn't be under investigation immediately.
But
instead of putting
have
them under
been,
investigation,
and they're not.
they're coming after me.
Rudy,
They want to kill me.
When are you going to present
the reputation?
Pardon the interruption.
Shokin, they're trying to really kill.
Rudy, when are you going to present?
Oh, they're trying to really kill Shokin now. They're trying to assassinate. I mean, that tells me two things. Rudy Giuliani has lost it. And they're probably going to start investigating Joe Biden after this, the impeachment.
Yeah. I mean, it's always wild to see, like, Fox News doesn't care. They don't really care what you say on their show. So to finally hit a line, we're like, wow, Rudy, can you stop? I listened to a lot of conspiracy theory podcasts. My favorite, I like Flat Earth Theory, and they have callers too.
Flat Earth Theory is lit.
Flat Earth Theory is the best. Not a lot of developments because Earth's still flat. Was flat yesterday. It will be flat tomorrow. I assume. But they had a caller call in, and he started talking about how clouds have been getting closer to the ground. And like, these are people who believe in everything from anti-vaccine to like that water is fake. And they were like, no, clouds, there are different types of clouds, that have different densities. And, sometimes with weather patterns, they get a little, that just sounds like, a perspective. That's like a perspective thing. You're like, found it.
When the flat earther says to you, take it easy,
it's like,
you're getting a little bit, this is being a little bit speculative here.
Yeah. Now, back to how viruses are not real.
Well, I mean,
viruses aren't real. We found it in the Ukraine.
This is, I think, the only question I have from watching this, aside from like, are you being treated? Is there medication you can take? Is what is Giuliani doing in Ukraine in the first place? I mean, it could be. Well, I think
really
they're
go to
doing
Ukraine or hallucinate.
They're doing something, and it could have been that he's over there looking for stuff from Biden. Maybe this is like, this was, this is, I think it's safe to say that it's, part of like Russian propaganda. And the idea was that it's coming from Ukraine. They are, they're rivals. Maybe that's not even fair to say from a Ukrainian perspective, but but I also think that they were up to, I think that, like there has to be an angle where Rudy's making money over there, and getting rid of the ambassador was not just so that they could get stuff from Shokin in terms of Biden. I have a feeling there was another angle that was more just about getting cash that didn't necessarily have to do with Shokin.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like in 2010-ish when Trump sent his lawyers to Hawaii to find Barack Obama's real birth certificate. This is giving me flashbacks to that one. Same kind of energy coming off of this. But I will say, I think that Giuliani's descent into madness, as it is kind of interesting. Same with like Trump just being a little bit off the rails, because it despite the Fox News host kind of like giving them like Rudy, calm down. It's like, it's so hard because of like the nature of the Republican Party's like talking points and what they normally say to like disaggregate like who is crazy from who is just like pandering to people, like who's a grifter and who is either evil or like literally insane. And that was the same thing with Trump when he was running for president, where people were trying to like question his mental health. And it's like, well, you can't really tell because they all sound like they all sound like this. They all talk about they all talk about the world with this sort of lens. They just have different levels of media training to couch it in a way that doesn't sound so like rambly and odd.